First of all, congratulations on Manifest West. What an intriguing story this is. It was totally different from what I was thinking it would be. So congratulations on that. You guys are superb in this.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much. Glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Well, let me start with Milo. What brought you to the script? What about the script was enough for you to say yes to it?
I think, one, me and my brother, we used to, when we were kids, shoot films together at home and play around. So, when Louis came to me and was like, "Hey, I read the script," and I read it and was like, "Oh, this is pretty cool. When are you going to shoot it?" He's like, "Well, do you want to be Dave?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I'd love to be Dave. One, I get to, shoot with my brother, on a bigger stage, right? And also, what drew me to it as a character, I don't think I've ever stepped into before. And that really intrigued me. And I was like, wow, what can you do with this guy? And what can you do with his family? And it was just very interesting to kind of jump into his shoes and see what he goes through.
What about this script was a go for you?
I was there when they started writing the story, and I was in the thick of it through really involved in the whole process. So it was wonderful. And just remember even Milo and I picking out wardrobe together. It was really special. We really were part of the process and crafting these characters, and really, because we knew each other, there was this just so much authenticity and so much collaboration. I don't think I've ever collaborated to this extent before in filmmaking. So it was a new experience for me as well in that sense. And just then practicing with my husband before, I was so involved that we never really rehearsed until like the day before. I was like, "Hey, I feel like I am Alice, but like, am I Alice?" Like the night before, like nerves. And then we sat down and kind of read one of her scenes when, she has a manic episode, and like he almost fell out of his chair. He couldn't believe it because he was really nervous about portraying mental illness. And I think by that point was her. So it was really fascinating.
Milo, as actors, I think this film, more than probably anything else, seemed like a giant trust exercise.
Yeah, I mean, honored that Louis trusted me, to play Dave. But I think, I think when everyone gets along and everyone collaborates with each other and everyone's on the same page, and even when people aren't on the same page, you get to talk about it and be like, "Hey, this is going to be cool, or that'll be cool this way." And I think when everyone agrees with that and everyone gets on board, I think, it's easy to kind of just for everyone to gel and everything to kind of come to life. So I think that's exactly what happened on set and on this film. So
yeah, there's a lot of scenes where we just had to let loose, and it was incredible because it's a very scary place, right? To just, but it felt every time, we were kind of ready to go. Like, we felt the story was so much part of us at this point that it was kind of like always like take one. We would just go all the way, and we had it, and we're like, well, let's do one more for fun.
yeah.
So there's a lot of that.
For fun.
Yeah. It's a cathartic experience. Some of these scenes must have just been freeing for you because, again, you're giving your heart and soul in this performance, Annette.
Yes, that's really what I love to do most. And I got to do that as Alice. I really unleashed, I suppose. And it was probably my most favorite work.
It's a hell of a film. What do you think, Milo? What do you think audiences are going to take away from watching Manifest West?
I think people are going, or I'd like people to take away from this film. I think you're not alone. I think that the problems that arise in this film, people deal with on a daily basis. And I think maybe sometimes when they're down that deep in those holes, they think that they're alone, and they're not. And I think, all you need to do is ask for help. And I think sometimes that's the hardest thing that someone can do. So I think that's just like maybe an important thing to touch on. I think also, wherever you go, your problems follow you,
Mm.
And you got to face it.
It also unfolds properly, for an audience. I mean, nothing is rushed in this film, which is such a great thing for an audience to sit and experience.
Mhm.
Was that on the page, Annette?
You mean how we just sat in things and
Yeah.
just really sat in the emotions of things?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it just was really, it was really present. I think that's why it was so saturated, because it was the four of us, and we're just kind of really sitting in this cabin. There's nothing much, there's no stuff, there's no like toys everywhere. And we literally made our own flag out of scraps and put it up, and it was really lovely in that way. It was just, we didn't have much, we barely had each other, and that's gonna make me cry. And then just fighting to just, can we just at least hold on to each other? And it's so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
No
Yeah,
spoil-
it's interesting. It's so funny. Doing these interviews, you start thinking of stuff that happened on those days, and it's like, oh wow, I didn't even notice this. But every time we went up to that cabin, there was always like slight little things changed, and it wasn't, you know what I mean? And that it was like slight little things changed, where
like progressively getting worse and
progressively getting worse, but they were so minute and so slight that you really didn't notice until you start shooting. And then you're in the scene shooting, and you realize there's newspaper on the windows, or you realize there's, like the trash is getting a little higher in the corner, So yeah, it's so funny. It's things you think of, but yeah,
and it was
I
perfect,
think
right?
Louis,
Because of that.
what?
It was perfect because of that, because the family didn't realize either how bad things got, right? Because they were just, all they wanted us to be together, and so they were almost like ignoring everything, because they knew like the time was gonna be up, and we didn't realize either. And then we're like, gosh, this is such a mess. What's happening?
Yeah, and I think Louis and Joe did an amazing job with obviously the writing and the cinematography and the way that they collaborated together on it together, and were so open with each other to make this story, and trusting us to make it come to life. So
Annette, do you take a piece of your characters that you play with you after you're done with a performance? I mean, do you carry some of Alice with you?
Some, I'm here in the woods right now in a cabin.
I hope the trash isn't
2
piling
years
up.
post making of the film, I can't let go is the problem, is my problem. No, things, these characters illuminate things in my life. And it was really wonderful how this family, they had a cookie cutter life that they were forced to give up. And they sort of were like, all right, we're just going to live off the land. And they went to nature. And what does nature? It reflects back your own state. And they weren't able to deal with it, but it's good to do that. It's really healthy. I think we should all spend more time in nature.
Yeah, well, I think so, and I think you're right. I mean, this film is about reflection of a lot of different kinds, and wow, what, again, I have to go back. What an amazing performance on both of your parts, to be able to pull this off and find the truth in all of this. I was blown away. I was just literally.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
In our final seconds, we have Milo. You work with Jake Tapper, one of my dear friends, and
Yeah.
on The Outpost. What an amazing performer you are. And do you enjoy those action type films? Do you enjoy films like this that are more dramatic?
Well, one, working on Outpost was awesome, and working with all those guys, and Jake Tapper is great author. I enjoy it all, but this was the first time I've ever done something like this with Dave, and this character. So I'd like to branch out and do other things to see what else is out there. But yeah, I mean, it's fun jumping around and doing action stuff. That's always fun. But there's more to acting than just jumping around and shooting shit.
Yeah, it's true. More to that.
So it's nice to branch out.
It's been a pleasure to chat with both of you on this incredible film, and I really do hope it gets the audience that it deserves, because this is just an amazing movie, and I think people need to experience it.
Oh, Tony, thank you so much.
Appreciate that.
You guys have a wonderful day.
You as well.
Bye, you too.
Bye-bye.